Okay, today we're going to go through how to use the layout for the penny hockey game. As you can see, each one of you will be given a paper that has all the dimensions on it. Hopefully you will notice that all your dimensions are from the top of the paper and from the left-hand side of your paper. If you'll notice also, there's arrowheads on all of these dimension lines. That can tell you exactly where it's from and where it goes. Everything's been dimensioned properly. Your job will be to plot 11 holes on your paper in your preparation for your penny hockey layout and making your penny hockey game. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. Hopefully it won't be so hard as you think it is. A couple of mistakes a lot of kids make, or a lot of students make, is they forget that this black line represents the top and the left-hand side of your paper. That black line represents the top and the left-hand side of your paper. So don't try to measure in, and your paper is smaller than the board we're going to be using, and so all the dimensions will be a little bit off on your paper, but it will be correct on your board. So let's go ahead and make sure that we get this done. All right, first of all, you need a blank piece of paper. So here's your blank piece of paper. You'll also need to keep your penny hockey layout paper with you so that you can get all the measurements. All right, as I said before, this hole right here is 4.5 inches over from the left-hand side of your paper, and it's 1 3/8 inches over from the top of your paper. So very simply, and this is why you should have been learning how to measure a long time ago, you're going to come down and put this line, not the end of the ruler. This is a big mistake a lot of students make. They try to measure from the end of the ruler. Always measure from the black line and put that right on the edge of your paper. So you're going to come down 1 3/8 inches, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to put a little dot. Okay? Now what I like to do is I do like to draw lines across my paper. It makes it easier to measure. So I put a line across my paper like this. And then on that line, I'm going to measure over 4.5 inches on that line from the left-hand side of my paper. So 4.5 inches over. It's right there. So that means that that first hole, this one right here, that one right there, is 4.5 inches over from the left and 3.5 inches from the top. And so that's where that hole is right there. All right, I'm going to double check that again because it does not look accurate. So I'm going to double check that again. 4.5, I'm about a 1/16 off, so I'll change that over right there. All right. All right, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come down. The next set of holes, these two right here, are 2 1/8 inches down. This one's 3.5 inches over, and this one is 5.5 inches over. Okay, so I'm going to measure down 2 1/8 inches. Put a dot. Take my ruler, draw a line across it. Please make sure they're straight. And then I'm going to come in 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5, and 5.5. Okay, so where's my first 3 holes? Now the next set of holes, I'm supposed to come down 3 7/8 from the top of my paper, and I'm supposed to come in 2 1/4 this time, and 6 3/4. So I'm going to come down from the top of my paper, 3 7/8. 7/8 is way down here. Again, I'm going to draw a line across my paper. Measure in from the left-hand side 2 1/4 inches. and 6 3/4 inches. Right? Make those pluses maybe a little bit darker if you like to. And that's for those two. Now we've got already marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. Now the one in the middle here, if you've noticed, you notice that I did not give any dimensions from the top of the board. As soon as you get these 4 holes marked, then all you have to do is crisscross those, and that will give you the center. And I will show you that here in just a minute. All right, the next set of holes I'm going to do is I'm going to come down 7 7/8. Put a mark. Again, draw a line across my board. Come in 2 1/4. So that's the same one across, and 6 3/4. Now, if you remember, I told you to find that middle hole. All you have to do now is cross. Just make a nice crisscross. You don't have to be all the way along and make a lot of lines on this part, just as long as you find that middle hole. Okay? So there's your middle hole. Now the next set of holes I'm going to draw is I'm going to come down 9 5/8, and I'm going to come in 3 1/2, and then I'm going to come in 5 1/2. If you notice, some of the holes are exactly the same. So I'm going to come down 9 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to then draw a line across, measure in 3 1/2, and then measure in 5 1/2. All right, those are those next 2 holes. And finally, my last hole is 10 3/8 inches down. 10 3/8 inches down and 4 1/2 over. One, two, three. Almost made it right exact. Okay. So there we have our 11 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, if you'll notice at the top of the paper, I've got 1 3/8 inches in this side. I don't have very much space. Remember what I told you at the beginning. This paper is not the same size as the board that we're going to be using. However, all the dimensions will be on your paper so that we can check to make sure you know how to do the layout. Now, once you're finished doing the layout, you've got all your holes marked, you'll take this paper to your instructor, which is me, and I have a master board already cut with the holes in it. I'll put your paper over the top of the master, and then I will punch holes wherever you say the holes are supposed to be. If you are off one hole, that means it's not in the right spot. I take your paper, I gobble it up, and we start all over again. So double, triple check your measurements. Make sure you're accurate. This is not only an assignment in measuring, but in accuracy. This one has to be exact, because if you don't, then the penny hockey board will not be accurate as well. So thanks for watching this today. If you have any questions, of course, come and see me and I'll help you. Make sure that you also put your name on your paper so that if you do have to do this a little bit more later, you can do this. You can also do this at home if you would like to. You don't have to do it here at school. You might be able to do it at home and maybe get it done quicker. All righty, good luck. Have fun with this.